everyone, it's Sam and I'm back with another video for Lawn Fawn. Today I'm using the new Sweet Spiders and Sweet Spiders add-on stamp set. And of course my assistant had to hop up as soon as I started working. That is Sedona. Okay, so I'm going to start, as I always do, by coloring my images. It is such a quick coloring tutorial because I am using small images. And I'm just showing the colors I'm using. I'm using pinks and grays to color the spiders. Platinum brown, warm gray, and pink and pale orange for the pink part. And I start by just doing the dark gray. I blend it out a little bit with my water brush, which is not soaking wet, just a little bit damp. And then I go over the gray with my pink and then use the pale orange to pull it out. And I do that for all of the spiders. And it just gives it really kind of an extra shadow, I guess, in this case. This was my first time kind of working with, you know, the gray and the pink together, and I wanted it to have like a little kind of a glowing effect of the pink. I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to just try new things with your markers and see what works and what doesn't. And this might not have been the look I was going for originally, but I mean, if I have to color spiders, I'm going to color them pink, okay? And guess what? I don't have to color spiders. I wanted to. I got to. Because these spiders are actually pretty dang adorable. Especially that little one on the left with the little eyelashes. So cute. I think that one is on the Sweet Spiders add-on. I'm using a lot of the same colors on this card because this card is going to be bright and bold, but it's not going to have a lot of different colors. So these same colors that I'm using for the spiders are going to be used on my other images as well. I am next using bright yellow and orange for the orange stripes on the candy corn, and tiny little bit darkest color pulled out with the lightest color pulled out with a water brush. Easy peasy. The yellow is just yellow and lemon yellow, and same thing, darkest color, lightest color, little bit of the water brush. Here's my warm gray 2 marker again that I'm just using for the tops of the candy corn. The pale orange and pink that I had already used for the spiders, I'm using for the candy wrappers, the fun size, which is the best. I'm using those same pink and pale orange for the bag, the little treat bag, and then the same yellow and lemon yellow for the stars, as well as orange and bright yellow for the little moon. And then I'm going to use the orange and bright yellow for the lollipop, and the same grays, platinum brown and warm gray 2, for the stick. Easy peasy. That's the colored images. I mean, couldn't have gone faster, right? Next, I'm doing the background for one part of the card, and I'm doing alcohol inks, which I thought would be a fun little different technique. I don't think I've ever shown alcohol inks on video for these, so this is what I was going to do. I started by using a little bit of the alcohol solution all over the base of my alcohol ink paper. Then I did black, smooth that around, move that around a little bit with a straw. Then this bright pink and a little bit of yellow. And this is such an organic and not technical technique. I'm literally just moving it around. I'm using my heat gun to move all over the paper to move the color. I'm using a straw to blow the color around, a little bit of alcohol solution to lighten the color and move the color around. One tip I wanted to share is if you're using black or a dark color and you want to put a light color on top of it, I like to put a little bit of dab of alcohol ink down and then the color on top of that, and that kind of helps the lighter color shine over the dark color. But I mean, other than that, it's really a once you play around with it, the more you play around with it, the more you become used to how the colors work. This is just another alcohol ink background I did for fun. Same black, same pink, but and also a light purple, but also instead of a yellow, I used a gold. And I wanted to show both just because it's such a quick process and it's so fun. And I just loved how they turned out, and I didn't know which background I wanted to go with at this time. Another tip just that I want to point out is that when you are using alcohol inks, you definitely, if you're using a heat gun with it, you want to constantly move the heat gun around, because if you keep it in one spot, it'll either burn the color or it will burn the paper and warp the paper. So definitely move that heat gun around constantly like you saw. I'm going to show you the colors I used. I used a combination of Ranger ink alcohol inks, and then this other brand I found on Amazon, basically Pinata. So I use Wild Plum, Sunshine Yellow, and Black for the background on the left. And for the other background, I use Wild Plum, Black, Gold, and Pink Sherbet. Okay, next we're going to create our card base. And instead of using a typical white piece of cardstock, I am using acetate as my card base. And I was a little nervous to fold this over because I didn't know how flush and flat it would lie, but it was perfect. It folded perfect. It lays flat. I was very surprised and very happy, and 0 complaints, 5 stars. Next, I'm going to heat emboss on top of the card front of this card, and I am heat embossing the spider web images in white. And pro tip, because I needed it, you definitely want to use a lot of anti-static tool when you are heat embossing on acetate, because the acetate is clingy and it wants to stick to every little granule of the embossing powder. So to combat that, I'm using tons and tons and tons of my anti-static tool, as well as after I pour the embossing powder all over the stamped image, I'm using a paintbrush to wipe away any extra granules, as well as to tap it on the edge and knock off any excess. The more powder I used in the beginning, like with my anti-static tool, the less the powder stuck where it wasn't supposed to. So definitely use an anti-static tool when heat embossing onto your acetate. My last thing I am doing is just this little tiny web that hangs down so my spider can deliver some treats. I'm heat embossing now on the acetate, and just like with the alcohol inks, you definitely want to continuously move your heat gun. I usually do circles. You start in one area, go to another. The more you hold it in one area, the more apt the vellum, but the acetate is to warp, as well as you could burn it. So you don't want that. So just keep your heat gun scorching hot and just constantly move it around. And now I'm just heat embossing the sentiments I'm going to use on the card on some pink cardstock. And same thing, anti-static tool, heat emboss, and then I'm going to trim them down into little banners for my card. Which, I'm not going to lie, I really do like it already without the alcohol ink background behind it, but I almost thought of keeping it like this, honestly, because I like how the white little web pops, but I do put the background on. All of the little spiders have foam tape as well as the sentiment, so it's all popped up for some dimension. And I love how almost each spider has a little bit of candy. I couldn't resist giving that sweet spider on the web hanging down a little bag, a treat bag. So cute. Next, I'm cutting down my alcohol ink background to a card size, a standard card size, and I'm just going to use some tape and adhesive and glue to glue it inside so that it shows through. And that's the card. Adorable, right? And so fun. I love that fun background behind it. It's super spooky, right? But adorable. Thanks so much for joining me as I made this card today, and I hope you make some cards with alcohol inks as well. I hope that you had fun, and be sure to check this card out up on the Lawn Fawn blog. Have a great day. Bye.